Oh, are we? Yeah. Okay. There we go. All right. Hello, everyone. Obviously, this is late. People are probably not watching it, but I have no space on my computer, so we're doing this. We're here to recap episodes 5 and 6. Stop laughing at me, Marvin. After a brief hiatus, Marvin was playing long games. I was very deep into game, so we had to take some breaks. Definitely, we were in 2 games at once. Don't be like us. Anyway, yeah, Marvin, I voted you out of that game. Or no, I didn't. But anyway, we gotta get into this.
You were the reason I left.
No, you're not. Josh is never gonna tie it. You know that.
Anyways.
Anyway, hey, I wasn't gonna vote for you, so and Josh told me to, so I wasn't gonna risk my own game. Just saying. Should have forgiven my idol. Should have done it. But anyway, we're gonna go into episodes 5 and 6 here. So we get back, and the Xiaoyu tribe goes. Didn't get to see the Fishu tribe's tribal council. They have no idea who gets voted out. Because you remember last time Fishu got to watch Xiaoyu, and they come in, they see Gabby got voted out, and obviously, no, he get into the chat. I'm like, all right, you guys ready to get your challenge? But I was like, we have business first. Let everyone know they're merged. Made it to final 10. We merged. Everyone's happy. We have some Chipotle quotes in there that will go in a blooper reel. Chipotle quotes by me. Everyone's talking about their merge feast and everything while they're changing the squares, blah, blah. But that'll be, that's not really an episode, so we're not going to talk about it. We get into the challenge. It's Can You Roly Poly? It's when, let me demonstrate because it is a little hard to explain. I am terrible at this, so don't judge me. I'm also not standing up. The contestants had to stand up. They started with 1 cup like this. Then I would tell them regular intervals, add a cup, so on and so forth. I can't do it. I am terrible with those challenges. So we see, I think we got up to 5 cups. It was actually 5 cups we got up to. Shockingly, and we're all seeing all these women shaking. Victoria gets it, and as she's we're adding cups. People are falling throughout. I think a few people did last a while. I think it was Ian lasted quite a long while. Elijah lasted quite a while. Bill was out like instantly. Some people, and then people casually dropped. John lasted a while. Then we came down to, all right, I'm going to add your 5th cup. We had 3 people standing, 3 women, and Lily, Victoria, and McKenna. We see them put the 5th cup on. Victoria gets it. And as she gets it, the other 2 back to back, done. So when Victoria wins individual immunity, which how do we feel about this for Victoria, Martin? Because she lasted 11 minutes in a wall sit, then she wins a challenge like this.
I feel that after that wall sit and sitting there for 11 minutes, that she did definitely put a target on her back. So, I mean, yes, I understand. We all understand that it's mostly DCP people at this point, and she was going to be safe no matter what. But like the last 3 standing in this immunity challenge were all DCP females. So they were good no matter what. So did she need it? No, but I feel that this definitely put even more bigger target on her back, right, for winning another physical challenge.
Which, spoiler, again, you should be watching this if you aren't, but later we do see the episode, the one remaining non-DCPer, and Matt does become the first member of our jury. So, and that was always going to be the case, and Matt dropped fairly early in that challenge after 3 or 4 cups. He was out long before these girls, right? Yep. So there was I don't know. I feel like at that point, it just kind of, you might as well just had an open discussion of, hey, which one of you wants it? Because you all know none of you are going anywhere. There's a clear target in Matt. I just think it's going to hurt Victoria if this is something that could potentially hurt Victoria down the road now. I think I was thinking that day up, Victoria just won these challenges. What is Victoria doing? Just so much target on her back. It just, I don't know.
If I were Victoria, I would have, yes, I understand it's something to put on your resume the further you make it into the game. But if I were her, I would have just been just thrown it, make it seem like she wasn't throwing it, but throw it so that one of the other 2 girls could have gotten it.
I know Victoria played a very similar challenge in DCP, and she did almost win. She was very close to winning it. So I don't know. She could have thrown it again. Q knew she was good, but if she threw it around 5 cups, I fell. That's around the same she got anyways. I think she could have done something like that. Like if she threw it at like 3 cups, people would have been like, yeah, you got like 5. But if she threw it right before the other girls, like, oh, I felt like, she wanted to barely say the same challenge, but with the ping pong without the ping pong ball. So I think I get why she couldn't, like, she wasn't thinking that because people knew she was good at it already. But like she could have easily just like put the 5th cup on, oh, I fell. And
But like at a certain point, I do understand you're so concentrated as to what you're doing that you're not too worried about what other people are doing. The only voice that you're hearing is the person that's calling, like, oh, so and so just dropped. Oh, moving on to the next cup, so on and so forth. So
yeah, exactly.
that's where I think that's where she was. She was just already in that mindset of just doing the challenge and listening to your voice and what you were saying.
Right. Exactly. So we do ultimately see her winning it. And we get into his scramble round, and somehow there's the DCP strong. We did it, guys. We got DCP all here. We pick off Matt, and we see Bill is not having that. Bill is going, I'm not voting for Matt. Matt is a friend, and we see people are like, good.
See, like this right here with Bill saying that and what happened last tribal is where it comes into play as to why we see that voting out Gabby at the last tribal was going to hinder Matt's game.
Right. And this is where we do see it, because spoiler, he does go out right after. Like here, the thing with Bill, he even says like, I'm gonna go down trying, or I'm gonna be the first member of the jury. It was the episode title. He's like, I'm gonna tries to get them to break up and saying like, hey, you got do it now. You have Matt. Matt's a number. One of you is gonna go next. Is this gonna be a production steamroll, DCP production steamroll? Because spoiler, there was 4 production members at the time, but now there's 6 and there actually is 6 because 2 of those people were on production at the time, but not officially announced. But now they are announced, and DCP's our new season, so I can talk about it. So there was a group of 6 production members, 4 at the time that we knew of, and Bill was saying, "Is this gonna be a steamroll of the production?" And they're like, "No, it's not. But we have to take out Matt this vote." And Bill is like fighting it. Are we surprised that somehow this didn't come back on Bill? They were too concentrated.
They're too concentrated. They already had a target in mind. So
yeah, right. And ultimately, we see the vote does this. Bill's pushing Elijah, and it's very, it's just there's not much scrambling going on. It's everyone's the DCP. We did it, right?
This vote just seemed really straightforward because, like you said, DCP had the numbers. They were the ones that were ultimately going to end up deciding who goes home.
So. Right. No, and then we get to it. We're getting closer. We do see in this episode, Lily does earn a steal a vote, which we changed her names to, and just a formal announcement I have to give. We are here at production are where it has since got rid of people who have been interfering with the game. We had our names changed, and one production member did decide to not change her name and say they had an idol later in the game, which was not true. And we never gave we never awarded anything. But however, some person decided to use that to trick people, and we are addressing that for the cast now because it has no effect on the game and it will not be shown. However, we will be addressing more issues on this production member when we get to episode 6. But we changed our names. So I had a T for my middle name. You had the V. Michael had the E, and that said person, I'm not mentioning their name, had the O. And we decided, we got instantly Lily has it. Like at tribal council, we decided to change it. Lily gets it within 5 seconds. These people. I'm not surprised. Lily's a production member. She knows what to look for in these minis. So I'm almost not surprised she got and it was vote. Lily sends in vote. She gets to steal a vote, which I think I want to change up a little bit next season, but I won't say that on here. But then we ultimately see you're going to tribal. Everyone just saying, yeah, just lollygagging because it's just like, everyone's like, we don't know what's gonna happen. It's crazy. They all know what the vote is. And production, we knew what the vote was. We knew who was going. Now the one thing someone gets in their voting confessional and goes, I'm going to roll the dice. And me and Marvin we did the same thing. We knew it, right? Where he's like, we were like, so you're gonna do it, right? And he's like, oh no, I'm voting. And we just sat there after like, what? And like, did you not? Bill warned you about this happening, and you still decided.
See, that's where I'm confused. Why not? Like, it's at that point, someone told you you're the vote. Why aren't you using your shot in the dark?
Because it's Matt.
Because I understand a shot in the dark does not give you a vote, but at that point, it
It
gives
was,
1 in 6 chance for safety.
and it was a 6-1 vote. So wait, it was 7-1. So at that point, you knew majority of the votes around you. Bill said, "Hey man, like there's these people. I hate to break it to you, you're gone." Bill was saying, "Use your shot in the dark. Don't risk it. Use it, and you have nothing to lose. You're going out regardless. Your vote does not matter at this point. It's 6-1. Whoever you're at that point, it would 7-1. So that point would have been 7-2, because we see Matt doesn't even get anyone to vote with him. His vote did not matter at that point. That's the one time you have to use it. Like I think some of the early mergers, it could make sense on the smaller tribes or where you're not too sure. But when Bill's saying there's 7 votes on you, man, you got to. There's at least 8. There's 7, potentially 8 votes. You got to use this thing.
Yes. Like, I know we already had the exit interview with Matt.
Yes.
But thinking on this now and what he said then, I feel like he knew he was going no matter what. So I felt like that one vote on Ian.
Yes.
So the one, I feel like it was more so him trying to plant a seed saying, hey, this is the person you need to watch out for. Here's where my vote is going. I feel like that was more so of a statement at that point, if anything, because
Right,
he was going no matter what.
Right. I think it ultimately for Matt, we see this is like in our next mini will be much better. I think if someone's plays Shot in the Dark next mini, it could be different. But I think for the circumstances we had, that was just gonna be next anyway.
Yep.
It's like I get why he didn't play boss. I think you should always play and go for that win. Yes. And ultimately, we do see Matt get targeted. Oh, this is a big thing. We see Matt also get targeted because the mini that me and him double idled out Marvin out of, he won in the first boot. Zach mentioned that on the first episode, and people were using that to vote him out. And we're like, this is just an excuse at this point. Like
that was the excuse they were using so that they didn't seem like DCP was a thing.
Right. And the thing is, like, I think Zach made this, and Marvin, you can speak on this part of them because we played that mini together. Zach made it seem like Matt won this mini so much more easier than like just steamroll this mini, crushed it, won it, I'm like, no.
Matt had to fight from the bottom to win that mini.
Right. And got put into fire making with myself as well. Like he had no clear path. Literally, I saved him like 3 times in that game. And like he had to fight from the bottom. And only one in what it was, he still didn't get all the votes. Like Matt, it was a much less clear win than I think Zach made it out to be. You know, I think it was like Zach made it seem like Matt's a strong player. Matt's got to go. Matt's gonna win everything. Matt's gonna do well in these challenges. Like Matt's good challenges. I'll give him that. But like I don't think Zach played it up more than it needed to be. I think, and I think it cost him.
Yeah, Zach bringing up that mini is what definitely put a target on Matt for no reason.
Right, exactly.
This is something I say every time that I come into a new game. I don't care if you won. I don't care if I won. I don't care if you're my best friend. If you're gonna work with me, make connections with me in the game, cool, let's go for it. But if like you could be my best fucking friend and you don't talk to me in a game, don't expect me to just keep you safe. I will come after you. And
I've experienced this.
that's like the thing. People need to go out there, actually do their own thing. But with Matt, what hurt him was definitely what Zach brought in from a past mini.
Right. And like I think you and me are very clear, like we've gone at each other. I've also cost you games, but we never bring that to past games. It just because you never know when you're gonna need that person. And like in this cast, if Zach survives his first vote, Matt's somebody he needs because Matt's a connection that is not DCP that Zach needs. And that's the thing. You never know. So that's why I hate cross gaming. It's nothing against Zach or any of that cross games. But like don't bring past things. Like if someone screwed you in a new game, it's a new game. It's a new game. Like that's what I have to say. And I think this is like where like Zach kind of screwed over Matt in a sense, and just once that chip could take off, it did.
Yep.
I think it's a second no. I think Andrew had to go. Then Matt would have been gone last vote. Let's put it that way. Matt didn't win immunity. Matt was gone. So Matt just not. It was bound to happen anyway, but it just kind of it didn't help things, you know. But yeah, ultimately we see Matt goes 7-2-1, and we have Richard Hash quote in there. I got bamboozled. Thinks he's completely blindsided. Like hindsight, he's like it was stupid, but he actually thought people were going to go on Ian. You know, we see him become the first member of jury. We get out of it. Overall thoughts on Matt's game? I've seen him play better. I've seen him play worse.
It's just middle of the road for me. Honestly.
Yeah, exactly. Overall thoughts, you know, he could have been better. He could have been worse.
I think
right.
the circumstance has been different, and he was playing with people that didn't have as many connections within the cast. He would have definitely played a better game.
Oh yeah, I've seen Matt. Listen, Matt's good at finding idols. Matt's good at finding advantages. Matt knows how to play games. I've seen Matt do really well. Alex, I'll answer you later. Alex in the cast just messaged me about something. He's gonna have to wait. But he's trying to get me attention for something. He's blowing me up. Alex, you're waiting. Because I know he's watching this. Yeah, so all this stuff happens. We see just Matt's a good player. I'll give him credit where credit's due. He does make dumb moves, but he's a good player. I've been aligned with Matt in many games, and I love Matt, but I think it definitely is not his best game. I think he should have. I would expect Matt to see something like this coming. I don't think he's coming as much as he should have. So we get over to the next episode, into episode 6. Now this is where I do have to. Before we do that, we're gonna play Suit Me Up. I showed the castaways a sequence of playing cards. They then have to repeat. They also have to have their hands on their head or out in front of them where I can see them. Didn't care which one, as long as I can see your hands. While I was showing the sequence, they then had to repeat the sequence back to me in the same order. If they got anything wrong, we were out. Now I have to address this beforehand. There was a production member who was doing me and Marvin's job, and again, that person has been fired. We are saying that they and them because we are not referring to them, and we are very upset here with what happened. I do want to apologize to each one of the cast members directly, and to anyone who was on has seen this and is very disappointed on production. The person is no longer on the page, no longer allowed to proceed anything that was our job doing, and I'm just saying that now, completely gone, and we took care of it right away. And I can't confirm with the cast. I did go do one-on-one calls with them and speak to them individually about it, and we solved the problem. I figured out what the sources were happening, and they were in breakout rooms talking to players and doing interference, and I just have to address it because it's what's best for our brand here. We are no longer associated, and the production has made a decision together that is appropriate for the person we cut. But anyway, we don't have to talk about that anymore. I think it's addressed. Yeah. Marvin's not happy about it either. He just watched it back and was like, that person needs to shut up. Yeah, we don't like that person. Anyways, we see this challenge. People are dropping after like 1 to 2 cards.
I am surprised because those were like that first sequence was short.
4 cards.
4 cards, and people were dropping left and right. I'm like, what is going on?
Like, I'm not good at memory challenges, but
I will say at this point, I think we had been they'd been playing for 4 or 5 hours already.
Yeah, it was like 4. But
so
still,
it gets mentally draining. It does draining to the point that your brain isn't thinking and isn't trying to keep these sequences in mind.
Yeah.
Because trust me, I've played a game where it was just at like at a certain point where it's just draining that you just couldn't keep this stuff in mind anymore because you had so many other thoughts going through your head. You're like, what's gonna happen after this? Like where are we going? So
Right, and especially in a longer mini like this, and any I've been in long games too, where like it's like I just forget to do things for challenges because it just after a while you get because the game's getting to you. So I think in this mini when it's everything's happening like this, like a long game when you have time to think about it and digest things, you're home, you're eating, it's not a real survivor, it still happens to you. So imagine like a lot of people aren't eating as much as they should be. It's throughout a long day. It's challenge, scramble, travel, challenge, scramble, travel. You're going at this point, right? We're at the merge. There's no slowing down. And I think it does get to people. Like, you think about it, it's hard when you have time to digest things. And you're talking about these people having 40 minutes in between rounds. They do ultimately, we see what happens. People are dropping left or right. We have a few people, John, I think it was John. I know it was John. I think it was John, Kyle. Yeah, John, Kyle, Victoria, and Elijah, who lasted through 2 rounds.
Yep.
And then lasted into a third, I believe.
No, they just lasted 2 sequences.
The 2 sequences, and we do see
because then
they
all get it right, like the first couple like cards of that sequence, right. But then Victoria and John get it wrong. So then it comes down to Kyle and Elijah.
Right, I will say John did think the sequence is wrong. I have checked back the footage. It is right. We see it now. I thought it was really funny because John was very adamant. I thought it was this. No, John, if you're watching this, I thought it's funny, and it was the next card. So John, and that's funny that 2 people got the same exact card wrong, and 2 people got the same exact right. And I was like, oh my gosh, am I wrong? When I watched it back, and I watched it back, I was like, oh, thank gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. We ultimately see the next card. All right, I'm like, all right, one of you has it right, one of you has it wrong. One of you is about to win immunity, one is not. We see ultimately Elijah wins immunity. And this is an interesting square round because now they're going, oh shit, we have to vote for one of us.
Yep.
And they have to vote one of each other out.
And Elijah knew that he needed to win this immunity.
Okay, Elijah
didn't. He was the goner.
Oh, Elijah knew it too, and we'll get to that later. But Elijah was I absolutely knows he needs immunity, right? I feel like so Elijah pulls it out, has immunity. We get into breakout rooms, and one of the first things we see is Victoria go, he would have been gone if he didn't win. And so now they're saying, because Elijah's he's in the core group, but he's outside the core group of DCP. That makes sense. Like he's better integrated than some other people play DCP, like myself. But Elijah was goner, and he goes. Elijah knew that. I think Elijah knew the others were a lot closer than he was.
Yep.
You see it, and Elijah go, now we have to vote for each other. And we see a lot of back and forth. Oh, who are you voting? Who are you voting? Who are you voting? I don't know who you voting. So now we're seeing that
scramble come into play.
Exactly. We're seeing that there's sides now. Like there's a line going to be drawn in this vote. Somebody's going to be on one side, the other's going to be the other. We're seeing a lot of who'd you vote for? I don't know. Who are you going to vote for? And it's back and forth. Ultimately, you see a room with Kyle, John, Ian, and Victoria. And John pitches an idea. So I pitch this in my season of Exile Island of DCP. And the big threats aligning is not a bad idea. And I'd say they're all pretty decent threats. I think Kyle is, he's smart. Victoria's incredibly intelligent, good challenges. John is incredibly strategic. Ian's strategic and social. Like, I don't think it's such a bad thing. They're saying it's spoiler. Ultimately, the 5 that successfully vote for Lily to get her out of the game. Along with Bill. No, wait. Those 4 along with Bill. Yeah. Those 4 along with Bill. Yeah. But they're keeping the big threats together. We see it, and they're saying we got to go some of these floaters, like some of these people that are gonna cruise on by, be under the radar people. And it's someone who is very bad at flying underneath the radar and not good at managing threat levels, I agree. You got to get those people out. I don't know how you feel about it.
No, I completely agree. I mean, you and I have played a game together where we got the winners and the strong competitors within a season together to make sure that the threats stay in the game, because we're always going to get targeted no matter what, and get the under the radar players
Right.
out.
I think I pitched that. Even my last long game, I was pitching to Kessler the entire time. I was like, you need me. If you go out, people are going to target me before you target you. You got to keep those threats aligned. Like, I said, use me. I always say, like, listen, if I'm a threat, you can pitch to people. Use me. People are always going to come after me. That's more. The more I'm in the game, the more people are going to vote you out. Like, that's what you got to use that point. I think that's what John's realizing. Hey, let's align together and convince these people you need us. We're threats. You need to keep us around. I think, John's using that very well. We can say, hey, have this big alliance of threats, and then we say, keep us. You need us. You're never going to need a reason. And I think that, keep them closer, keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. So they're close. They're here for John, right? This is the threats lines. Everyone else over here. Hey, you need me. You're going to be, once I'm gone, who's a strategic threat? It could be you. I think John's trying to plant this seed.
Yep.
I think that's the reason to get rid of some of those floaters. They're gonna come after you. I do think it's like, who are the social, and they're saying, okay, we're all fairly strategic. Who's the social people? And it comes down to Carrie, Lily, and McKenna.
The three other girls.
The three other girls, which is very interesting. And I think we called this in our cast system. We knew they were all going to be social. Like, these groups. Yeah.
Yep. I think that was one thing that we got from all three of their interviews, is that just the way that they presented themselves, it was just like, these three are going to end up being really social and put themselves in a really good position. And from what we've seen, they have.
Yeah, exactly. And it's someone who's not someone who's seen social games blown away and not social at all. You guys smart. I think we both have fairly bad social games.
Yes.
Chris, dare I go there? It's okay. I had Idol. He was never gonna. I knew we were good. But yeah, I think we do have it's like you. If you're strategic, you got to get your social players out, because they're gonna be the ones to flip on you. They're gonna be the ones to be like, they're the ones that are gonna get the numbers. And strategic player it's always good for strategic. I don't understand why strategic people don't align and they just go at each other. It never works out. But the thing is, if you can make a move to get one of the social people out, you got to do it. And I think, we see this happening, and we see them. Who can we pull in? Elijah's messy. Elijah exposes plans. Elijah's gonna go after. Elijah's gonna do his own thing. He's already throwing out Bill's name, which is like, you have immunity, but maybe not your first immunity when you knew you were gone. If you know you're gone in the game, right? If you don't want immunity, are you going around throwing a name?
Nope. You just go with what I'm telling you.
Right, exactly. If you're at the top of the lines, if you're in good position in the game, yeah, be the one to direct that vote. Do it. But Elijah's not in that position. Throws at Bill, thinks Bill's the plan. We'll get to that later when we get to the vote count. But we see them go, what about Bill? And then Bill comes in the room and they're like, oh, perfect. We're not voting for you. And Bill's like, yeah, same. He's like, who are thinking these three people? The people are flying, you're going to fly under the radar. And Bill's like, I would agree. Bill's like, I like this. And hopefully they're like, so Bill, who do you think? And he's like, Lily's cute and adorable, but that's exactly why she's going to win this game.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, we see how this thing's flipping. And by the way, Lily has no idea it's coming. No idea, all right?
Not at all.
So we see the other ones going Ian, John, Elijah's going Bill. Bill wrote down my name, which is, what kind of strategy do we call that?
I don't even know, honestly.
It's not a good one. Listen, if you I think if it's fine, if you're in a alliance, say, Bill wrote, and you're in a strong alliance, you could say, Bill wrote in my name. I don't need to talk to him. I can vote him out. That's fine. if you have numbers, we're voting for Bill. Firm, done, signed, sealed, delivered, right? But
Yep.
Elijah's not in this position to be doing this. And he's only just painting a target if he doesn't for future episodes. If he doesn't win, that picture's gonna be stronger. I think he's painting a bad target for him in the late game here, saying Bill needs to go, Bill need to vote for me. And people were like, okay, people get vote.
Like, if I were Elijah, I feel, I mean, all of them are threats. All of, like, literally every single person in the cast at this point is a threat in their own way.
Right.
But if you're going to look at throwing a name, I would suggest going, if you're going to throw a name at all, just go for a hard hitter and throw out one of the bigger, like, extreme higher level threats. Don't go for someone who's like in the middle of threat level or like a low threat level. Go for a hard hitter.
Like
that will make people's like start rolling and thinking's like, oh yes, right.
Like John or Ian or somebody. Like we see that did ultimately work for Carrie, but Carrie was in alliance with people that worked out for her. This was not his position. He should have thrown out John or Ian. Those are two names that be throwing out. We're going to be thrown out regardless. And we do see they both end up getting votes. But we threw out the name and we see throw out a name that's heavy hitter. I think it was a bad read on him.
Yeah. And like at that point, you're like, well, I'm not going to vote somebody who hasn't voted me, even though they're a threat. I'm just like, at that point, you're just like, oh, I'm going to vote them because they voted me.
Right. And I think ultimately we see it. This round is going to be messy. And are we in for it? No one knows quite what's going to happen. We get to the next vote, right? And next thing we know, we get to the vote. We're going around. No one knows what's happening. The people are saying, I've heard Elijah's name thrown out in tribal council, and Elijah has immunity.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how the game's picking up, because now nobody's safe. We all know each other. There's no easy targets anymore. There's nowhere to hide. So everyone here has a reason to win. Everyone here is a threat. Everyone here knows each other. Everyone here knows each other's strengths. Everyone here knows each other's weaknesses. So you have no telling what's going to happen. So we go into the vote. Things are slowly. We're getting everyone asking around. I was like, John, I love this question at Tribal. What would you capsulate on the first two? If you could put like a title on the first few rounds of the merge, what would it be? And John says, "Welcome to the circus." And I do ask Lily, "Hey, if this is circus, what does that mean for you?" And she goes, "I'm like we do get the episode quote from her. I'm like the elephant on that ball, trying to hang on." Which right away I was like, hashtag episode title. Like that was the best thing.
Yep.
Like the best analogy. Like, so we see that. Go ahead.
No, like I was just thinking, go ahead.
Yeah. So we do see that. And ultimately we get to the votes, and Lily doesn't play or steal a vote. And we get into the votes. And I purposely edited it, put one vote on each, because there's no telling who went home. Just the way production happened, we were like, and when votes started coming out, Marvin goes to me, "That's what they're saying in my room. I had a feeling it would happen."
Yep.
And we can see that each vote comes out. We go ahead.
No, I'll say it after.
Okay. We go into the votes. I asked, if anyone hasn't hit an immunity idol and you'd like to play it, now would be the time to do so. John did have the lovely shark in our room, which was the Shayu idol. Plays it. John says there's too many names. I'm way too paranoid. I'm a paranoid motherfucker, and I have a habit of negating myself and racing idols with a final 9 with one vote on me. And what happened?
Wasted it. One vote on himself.
Exactly. So we see it. Lily votes for John, and I will say the entire cast who has said to me, like, it's great. I put it out first because I was like, John does not count. Everyone thought just gonna rip through 7-8 votes, like they're ready for it, like bam, bam. And next thing we know, Lily. Okay, everyone's like, okay. Bill. Everyone's like, okay. Ian, and everyone's like, what is happening right now? So I'm like, that's one vote Bill, one vote Ian, one vote Lily. Next vote, Lily, Ian, Lily, and all of a sudden, all the Lily votes start turning over. Lily goes out in a 5-1-0 vote because John negated idols, because it was 5-2, it would have 5-2-1-1, but technically John's vote didn't count. So it's 5-2-1-0, technically speaking. You look confused.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I was
Math,
processing that.
yeah, math is hard.
Yeah.
So ultimately we see Lily go home with that vote. And what do we think about Lily not using her steal vote here and stealing one of the heavy hitters' votes and tying it up? Because it was 5-2-1-1. I counted the votes wrong. I said one vote left, but I was thinking Lily needs one more vote and she's gone because the way the votes were split. But in reality, there's 2 votes for Lily left in the urn.
Who did Lily vote? Lily voted for John.
John.
So no matter what, if she ended up stealing a vote, she probably would have put that vote on John as well. So it wouldn't have done anything for her.
Right. What she could have done is she could have tied this. And that's like we see this be a major flaw in Lily's game, and she gets voted out because of it. Like, the thing is, like, when I saw this coming, I was like, oh my God, like, she didn't use it. And this whole thing, it took 5-2-1-1. Like, it was just the way it broke down the votes, it was amazing. Because you think about, like, that's the thing, the way the votes were split, like, Lily only needed 4 votes.
The thing that would have actually helped her out was if she did end up voting Ian, who got 2 votes.
Yeah.
So if she voted Ian, so that would be 5-3. And if she did the steal a vote and then put that vote on top as well on Ian, that would have helped her out, and it would have been a 4-4-1 vote.
4-4-1.
And then that would have also been meaning that John wasted his idol.
Had it with no votes. But then, you know, the great thing about this, now
and
Ian
would have gone straight into rocks, and they would have been safe.
Right. Yeah. Now here's the thing. So Ian's safe. Ultimately, I don't think John, but that would not have been a bad output for John then, because
John
then Ian,
yeah,
because Ian would have been safe. Lily would have been safe at the time of votes. Elijah's off the wheel, and John's off the wheel now. So that means that leaves Carrie, McKenna, Bell, and we have 4 people that are safe. So who's the Victoria
and Kyle
all go on the wheel. So I think ultimately Lily could have saved herself here. Had she read that better. I think she was just, we saw her face, pure despair. She was blindsided. Like, she just was sitting there like, as the votes come in, Lily was just sitting there like,
she knew it was her.
Exactly.
She knew it was her the moment she got that 3rd vote.
I think the second she got that first vote, she knew something was up, because you always know there's a plan A, there's a plan B, and there's a plan C. And if you don't know plan C is what?
The real plan.
Yep. And ultimately we see that Lily was plan C in her mind. And also we see those votes turn over, and she was like, she only needed 4 votes because the way the votes are split up so weird. She could have saved herself here. I think ultimately, and I think you weren't there for Lily's interview. I haven't posted it yet quite, but she basically was like, yeah, I probably should have used it and split the, like, did something about that, because I would have saved myself. She was like, dang. But yeah, I think that Reagan made an interesting moment, because it was definitely an interesting vote. Like, there was just votes coming out crazy. Like, and it could have been so much crazier had she tied it. Like, I don't. And we see Lily, her final words, like, yeah, whatever, it's a game. It happens. I wish her good luck. And now we are down to final 8, which is coming this week. But I think we should do, because these episodes kind of blend together for me, I think we're going to do, I'm going to put the polls up and everything, but we think we should do one. I think we should just do double episode 5 and 6 fan favorites.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go say both these episodes. I think it has to be Ian. Ian's taking charge here, and nobody sees him coming. Ian is orchestrated both these votes now.
The one person that saw it coming was Matt. He tried to
Exactly.
make a statement,
Exactly.
but
And now look, what we're seeing. We're seeing Ian take over yet another vote.
Mm-hmm.
And people are seeing that, but yet Ian's still getting numbers somehow. We're seeing that Ian's starting to take a little bit control of this game a little bit now.
Yep. So honestly, I want to say John for getting those
Yeah.
strong threats together. Yes, he may have misplayed an idol. It happens to the best of us, but he did do what he had to do
Right.
and get those threats together in order for them to
Right.
stay in the game.
I will say this: if you ever know there's a split vote that could be on you, which I think John knew he could be getting votes. If you ever say you're going to split vote, because I've done it before multiple times, if you know there's a split vote potentially coming your way, you play your idol, because
Yep.
I've seen it too many times in orgs where people know, and like you see, like people play it and misplay an idol. Like you saw it, where I put Tasha out because in our game, our ally, because they said they're splitting votes. I said, oh no, if it's gonna be if this is 4-3, because I thought she was voting for me too. It only takes one vote to flip. You never know what's going to happen. If you hear your name, you're splitting, you never waste an idol. And John knew there was a split. And I don't, ultimately, they decide not to split and they decide to go just chaotic and chose not to turn their assignments. Like, it's like they didn't know the assignment. So instead of doing it, they just decide not to turn it in. Like, that's what it came into. Like,
Yep.
So that's what happened there. And I think it's not a bad move on him. Like, I think it was safe to play that idol there. I think anyone would have.
I would have.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's names being thrown out. Don't risk it. Like,
At that point, it's better it being wasted than you getting voted out with it in your pocket.
somebody who's been voted out with an idol, it's an incredibly shitty feeling. It's a bad feeling. I will never be like, oh, idol was a waste. If you have an inkling suspicion, you play an idol. So I can't blame John at all.
Yep.
I think, yeah, but ultimately, who do we think we have next here? I think we have, I mean, Victoria for somehow recovering from winning immunity and still getting into a big threat alliance. Like, Victoria's becoming a threat. Like, she wins it, she can win challenges, and now she's getting people to keep her around because she's a threat. I think she's giving herself good threat management.
Mm-hmm.
I think now, for the time being at least, she's got good threat management.
Yep. And then I want to say the only reason I'm going to be saying this name is because had things not fallen into place for them this last episode, they would have been gone.
Mhm.
Elijah, he knows that he needs to win immunity. We shall see what happens in these coming episodes on how long he will last, but he knows he needs to win immunity in order to stay safe. And I think he ensured and made that happen.
Right.
I mean, yes, it may be like a memory luck comp that he won immunity on, but he knew that he needed to memorize what he needed to memorize in order for him to be immune and not be the next boot.
Right. I think this is because we've all played orgs, we all know one round can be a huge difference. Like, we could see that Elijah doesn't win immunity next round, and he could be safe because you winning one round immunity changes so much in these games. And I think that's a good thing on Elijah. Like, I've done it. Like, you win an immunity challenge, all of a sudden you go from being the target to someone else blowing their game up. So you never know what's going to happen.
Yep.
You truly. So any round you can survive, take it while you can.
Yep.
I think it was good on Elijah because he knew he needed it and he got it.
Yep.
All right, so we do have our typical housekeeping. Are you going to be here tomorrow for this recap? So we do have an episode which I'm editing and doing my capstone all at once. So we have a lot going on tomorrow, and I have to do my presentation, my capstone at 12 and 11 hours. So I got a lot of work to do after this. So we're gonna do this quickly. Yeah, I'm nervous. But what we have is Oh, should I tell them who the guests are? Should I go for it?
Let's do it. I mean,
All right, so
we're gonna have the episode tomorrow, regular
So-
time.
no, 5 o'clock. He'll be up at 5 o'clock because one of our guests does need to
That's
be
right. So
has to have to be up early.
5 o'clock, and then right after the episode is when we're going to be doing the episode recap.
It'll
Wait.
be me. Good. It'll be me, myself, and Marvin, along with joined by special guests Denny Naprava and Kylie Scruggs for our episode 7 recap. We finally got a guest. We're super excited.
Not just
Um,
one, we got
But
two.
I got 2. Yes. And I can't talk about why I got Kylie on. But that's yeah. So we are excited. They both agreed to it and they're both down. We're doing it right after the workday, which I have a 9 to 5 now, so this is probably how things are gonna roll. Things are gonna be rolling a lot different now. Just so everyone knows, extra interviews will be happening on Mondays, but much later in the night. So now we will be posting on Tuesdays, and yeah, because like I said, adulting, right? So we do have a lot going on now. So the schedule will be a little different. This will be a one-time episode where it's up early. I know it's kind of in a weird time of the workday. But yeah, other than that, they will go back to 8 o'clock. It just Danny unfortunately asked that we do it earlier, and I said that's fine because we really want to have her on, and because she's been very opinionated on her page, and I think I would love to have her on and talk about the DCP alliance that's happening and how they cut everything. But yeah, we will be back. We are signing off for tonight. Good night, everyone.